But yeah, I'm just try to at least stay in
Gotcha.
order as possible, I guess.
Yep.
But it don't have to be like like oh my gosh, I need to make sure to get back in line. I think it's more of just like I feel like
Trying to die on camera. Yeah.
yes, trying to die on camera. And I would say more of just like future stuff for the third block. Obviously, after question of the day, we'll just get to that, and then
Seems like we got 3 people waiting. Jeez.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, people are ready for our misery.
I have a full bottle of water.
I thought you were gonna say vodka.
I wish, dude. I wish. You kidding me?
Yeah, yo, Mariners Tigers, man, must be nice to be in a game 5.
Dog, don't even talk to me about
that. Dude.
And if you had to bring up J.P. Crawford getting a ring, if the Mariners
dude, I will just like
He's gonna be a champion before Bryce Harper. Do the math.
I will put a fork in my neck if that happens, bro. So, yeah, today has been just crazy,
man.
Dude. It's been a day. It's been a day. It's been a day. All right, we'll get started at 1:45.
There's more viewers than we had like our whole last show. This is crazy.
I know. All right, 1:45. We're starting. All
right. Yeah. I can't believe this is happening.
I dreaded this. I
wore black for the funeral.
I know. Well, I couldn't. My whole wardrobe's Philly shit, so I just did this. So whatever. But anyway,
I just refolded all my. Never mind. Go ahead.
It's fine. You're good. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Bank Phillies podcast. I'm your host Pete, along with Henry, and I don't even want to say what's up because I know what's up. But
I gotta say that intro is a little too peppy for me.
I mean,
I know you're trying to boost it up, and you're trying to,
No, I usually like I'll
thought you were
drag out the welcome.
I thought you were gonna give a hello. That's what I thought was coming.
Nah.
We got swept by the Yankees last year. That's what I expected. This is worse. This is
worse. I mean, listen, as down as we are right now, I at least try to want to give a little bit of a professional intro, I guess you could say.
Of course,
Obviously, it's times aren't great now. But I think it's appropriate to, I guess, do our best to stay professional for the audience and try to hold it together as best as we can. Obviously dreaded this podcast and just how it's gonna go, I guess, and bear with us.
The fact that we're doing it.
Yeah, that we're doing it, and bear with us if we're all over the place. We're gonna do our best to kind of keep some emotions in check, but obviously, once we start ranting and saying stuff, it's kind of just, you're gonna see how we're feeling, I guess. And yeah, it's the season is officially over. So it is sucks to be here, man. Sucks to be here. I'm not. I just it's crazy that yeah, it's annoying, man. I just thought it was I thought it was gonna be the year, man. I really did. I thought there was an opportunity there, and they just missed it. So it's something that we're gonna have to sit on here for a really long off season. So it's gonna be rough. So but yeah, so I mean, everybody that's here should know, or that's listening, but I'll just say it anyway, just to kind of put it out there. But the Phils lost to the Dodgers yesterday and have been eliminated from postseason. And they've been eliminated.
My headphones off when you said that we lost to the
Dodgers. Eliminated from the NLDS for the second straight year. Unfortunately,
put them on too early. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And so that pretty much wraps up the 2025 season with another disappointing ending, unfortunately.
I just can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
We went the exact same distance as last season.
Yeah.
Now, the series looked different.
It did.
Even though the score was the same, but the series looked different. I just don't understand That's it. I don't understand. Like
Yeah.
I don't know not where to go from here, but it's like we waited longer for a playoff game than we spent in the series. Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Like, we plan our entire year around Red October, and it's like, we I'm buying jackets and stuff when I'm at spring training in February, March.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can wear this during Red October.
Yeah.
One game. One game I got to go to.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that where I'm like, am I an idiot? Like, am I an idiot for like planning and getting hyped for this period of time, and then they just beat me over the head with a bat and it's over?
Yeah.
Like, I can't comprehend that. Like, we were on the phone last night afterwards, and like, you freaked out once the game ended.
I did.
And
tried to hold back, couldn't. So.
It took me 20 minutes where I was just watching, and I was sitting there with my phone on the charger, and I just threw it. I don't know if you noticed. I threw it, and I was like, are you bleeping kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know. I can't understand how that happened. And I think this one's more confusing than 2023.
Yeah. I mean, it's
just more like
debatable. It's debatable.
I don't want to say more surprising, but like, I don't know. I just didn't think it'd be over this early. I really didn't.
Yeah.
This team seemed to be like a lock to go to the NLCS. And I wasn't discounting the Dodgers. Like if you asked halfway through the season or at the end of the season, who's your NLCS? A lot of people would have said, Cubs, Phillies, Padres, Phillies, and just none of it happening.
Yeah.
Brutal sport in the world. It's the one I love the most, but it's the most brutal sport in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's tough, and I hear what you're saying, and I mean, like, and real quick, if anybody wants to put things in the comments, go ahead. We'll definitely, see that stuff, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. And before we get more into just like the series in general, I understand what you're saying, and I think like today has been a day, and I think for us and how dedicated we are and how other fans are committed throughout the year, and it's like you were just talking about like the whole like back in spring training and getting all that stuff prepared, and October like being so short as it was, and I sit here like for another like like now this is the end of our second year doing this, and I always just like tell myself that like, and I imagine it, and I don't know if that maybe is like me like getting ahead of myself, but like just having that moment of getting to the World Series again, or even just like winning it all. And I think sometimes like I imagine that stuff in my head throughout the season, yes, and then as we get closer, I'm just like, I'm hoping this is like I'm hoping this is the year. I'm hoping this is like this October extends into November, and we're still cheering on, we're still watching, and all this other stuff. And it's like, I don't know, like I set myself up to just like be prepared for the month of October now. And I don't want to make it seem like we're spoiled because, these last couple, like since 2022, when we went on the run, and, now we have the expectations of this team. And I just think like it's gut wrenching when reality hits you and you're humbled.
Yeah.
Like how it went down.
100%.
And I think like what I'm trying to say is that like, this is why you can't take any of it for granted as a fan, especially watching 162 games a season and, watching day in, day out, night in, night out and stuff like that, going to games and just, the the game filling your afternoons during the summer, it's just like you can't take any of that for granted, and you got to enjoy it because obviously we talked about it on the last pod where, the regular season and postseason are two different seasons, two different animals, and you don't know what's going to happen in October. But you know that throughout 162, game season that like you're going to be posted up for however many months to watch, baseball, whoever, if you're watching the Phillies or whoever else. And yeah, it's humbling, man. It is as a fan. And, obviously we're going to get more into the gritty details of, just the team in general. But I think as a fan, it's tough, man. It's tough obviously it sucks to lose. And, you hold out hope like every game in the division series, and you're just sitting there and you're just like, hopefully they can just, spark this and let's go or whatever. And, we felt confident going into it. And I think just, they, like I said, I'm going to speak more about it, but they just beat themselves at the end of the day. And I think,
and that's the most frustrating part.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that's the tough part of accepting. And all day today, and not to sound dramatic, and some people know how I get, but it's just I was in a daze today, and that's the thing. I told you last night that it wasn't going to hit me until today, and I think
you did.
Driving into work, listening to WIP, I told myself I was going to listen to it. I listened to it all day, hearing people talk and trying to gather my thoughts for tonight and stuff like that.
My entire day was listening to WIP about the loss.
Yeah,
like I spent a full 12 hours at work listening to people react to this loss.
Yeah, and I was just trying to gather everything for tonight, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, I'm not getting prepared for Phillies baseball anymore until February, till March, and that's the part that sucks, man. Because at the end of the day, I love being a fan of this team, and I think like throughout the summer, it's one of the things that keeps me going. You know what I'm saying? Just like knowing that I can watch Phillies baseball after work or anytime during the summer and stuff like that, or for however many months. And it sucks, man. It sucks, and it sucks to accept, I guess. Like it's just sitting there, and it's just like, damn, like we gotta wait another whole off season. So, but like I said, it's humbling. It is. It's humbling. So
it is. Do you want to get to some comments real quick before we?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we'll take a look at the comments. Go ahead. It's fine.
Okay. So here we go. Sorry, I got to figure this out. So Connor said, after seeing Schwarber's post-game conference, do you think he resigns? What do you think? Or do you want to save that for? Do you want to save the resign? Can we just talk about his post-game press conference real quick?
Rather than seeing if he resigned?
Sorry, Connor. I feel like that may be a topic for a day, a pod where we're doing all free agency stuff. I think that's a good idea, and quite frankly, I need to collect my thoughts. But
I know you're fine.
Seeing him almost cry was tough, and that dude is bulletproof, and there's I don't want to get into the play yet. There's a moment at the end of the last game with Schwarber, and I'm gonna get to it later, but it just shows the kind of person he is, and what he did for this team. So I don't know what is gonna happen, but
no, it was a tough one to watch after the game, and obviously a very emotional one. And I know, I feel like it's. I guess I could say it's surprising to see the emotions that Schwarber had, and these guys are human beings at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Not just players. And I think for a guy like that who came into this franchise at a time where we knew that they needed a couple pieces to have these type of runs and stuff like that. And after 2021 where they collapsed at the end of the season, didn't make the playoffs, and we knew that Bryce was the main centerpiece of this team. And even when he first signed with us, I wasn't too sure of what he was going to bring to this
Me neither.
organization.
And I didn't know anything about him really.
Me neither. Yeah, and I think like just seeing that is so tough just because of like I know we didn't reach the goal with him, but like the memories that he gave us, the seasons that he gave us, and all that other stuff, it starts flooding back again,
Yeah.
and it was tough to see, and I don't know, it was gut wrenching because I'd never seen emotion like that from a player post game, in a while, or as bad as that was. Not saying it was like
Yeah.
he was crying his eyes
No,
out,
but
but
just
like
as like raw and emotion.
yeah, like his lip was like kind of like
It's
shaking a little bit,
quivering and it's just
quivering.
like,
Yeah,
oh man,
and
don't do this.
and then he says that like he felt like that this was the team to do it,
He
and
said
and
deep down in his
that's
heart he thought that they were going to get it done. It's like, oh
yes,
man.
and that was the tough part,
And he's such a
and
big piece. Like,
yeah, he is,
and
and
spe-
all no
yeah.
jokes, yeah, he
No,
is.
no, yeah. And speaking of big pieces, how are you feeling about Bryce? I will let you take this because you're like,
Yeah.
that's your glorious King Bryce Harper. So you need
Yeah,
to.
well, listen, we all love Bryce, and we can state the obvious that like he didn't have a great postseason. Like in all the games that he played, I mean he got on base here and there, but I just heard today like he didn't even drive in a run all series. He didn't hit a homer. He didn't do any of that. And I just think with Bryce, it's to be determined. That's where I'm at with him right now. Like Bryce is getting older.
Yeah.
He plays violently, like he has a violent swing, he has all this stuff, and I just think it's getting to the point where like we're gonna have to wait and see with him going into like the next couple of years. And I am hoping, praying that he could do his best to stay healthy. I don't know if the wrist thing's gonna be a prolonged problem. I don't know. But listen, at the end of the day, he's still Bryce Harper, and he's still gonna bring something to the table for this team. So I'm just it's something that for right now, it is what it is, and he just needs to look himself in the mirror at this point. So,
But what does that mean? He's Bryce Harper because at this point he's had two postseasons where he really hasn't done much.
yeah,
Like
no, I
last
know,
year he
but
was not hardly anything. Now he didn't get a lot of pitches last year,
mhm.
but I just he's somebody put it perfect. It seems like Superman lost his cape. And I was kind of feeling that way this year. Like he did have the injuries and stuff, so his numbers weren't fantastic.
Yeah,
But there's just something that's missing. There's something that's missing. I don't know if it's a passion. I don't know if it's something like, and I mean, the other thing is too, like I heard somebody else make this point. He did just have another child, and that's a really stressful time in somebody's life. It's waking up in the middle. It's there may be some human aspect to why he was struggling. Whatever. I'm not going to get completely on him all the time. I'm
yeah,
just saying it just something feels different. And I mean, it kind of goes into our next comment.
yeah.
Matt said 2022 and 2023 feel like a lifetime ago, which is very true.
Mhm.
Feels like forever ago.
Yep.
What happened to this team? Where's the heart? Where's the swagger? Where's the vibes? Was it Reese or was it Gene?
Yeah, bringing out some
That's tough, man.
crazy names there.
That's tough. Like, but this is my point. Like, when you saw Bryce Harper play in those two seasons,
Yeah,
it was like, that's the guy. I don't feel that way right now. Like he's still our guy. He's our guy. But I don't know if he's a top 20 player in the sport.
eh.
I don't. But I mean, who is he? I mean, there's three players just on the Dodgers that he's not above. I
Well,
don't think he's
yeah.
at this point. I don't think he's better than Mookie. I don't think he's better than Freddie Freeman. I don't think he's better than Shohei. He's probably not better than Kike Hernandez. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, relax.
No, but like, I mean, in all seriousness, there's so many guys that I could list off, and it's just like I don't know if Bryce is as good as they are. Like,
Yeah,
and people wanted to say, "Oh, it's not about vibes; it's time to win." These guys didn't at first. They didn't look like they were having fun. Like,
Yeah,
that
true.
stuff matters. It's a 162 game season. So, like, when Matt points out, the vibes and the swagger and stuff, that matters. Like, that
Yeah.
matters a lot. I don't know what your thoughts are on it. I think that stuff matters more than people think. And I think it got a bad rap because we lost. Like those 2 years. It was like, oh, no more vibes. Ugh. We hate Garrett Stubbs. Okay. He wasn't on the roster this year, and we still suck. So what's your point?
Yeah. Yeah, the thing with me is just like, and I could see some instances this year where it's like you don't really know what's going on with Bryce. A lot of people talked about his emotions, how he didn't show much, and all this other stuff. And we talked about like a lot of it could be that he knows that like he's getting into the backstage of his career at this point where it's
Second half of his contract
yeah
after this year.
yeah, and he
Imagine
recognizes that I think, and I think for one of the things, and it's interesting that Matt brings up like Reese and Gene and all those guys and how much energy they brought to the team, and even some leadership at certain points, especially Reese, and knowing what he went through with this franchise and then went into 2022. I think sometimes I almost feel like, as much as I love to say that Bryce is the leader of this team, and I do think at times he is, but I also think that for him, it always felt like that maybe, just maybe, that he would always want to have that sidekick type player to kind of like bring, like not be like all on his shoulders to, bring the energy and show up at every moment and just do everything, which I'm not saying he had to, but it almost like a guy like Reese, like he was a leadership in that clubhouse even before Bryce got there.
And I think being there before Bryce got there, not to cut you off, but being there
No,
before
you're
Bryce
good.
got there, I think helped their relationship.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. And I just, I don't know. I feel like it's almost like Bryce seems like he knows they're missing that. And that's no disrespect or shot at any other players that are here right now, like Kyle and JT and all those guys. Like, we know they're voices in the clubhouse as well, because they're the veteran core. But I think ever since then, like, ever since like Reese has left, and Gene, I mean, listen, Gene was amazing and he was great for this, clubhouse, but like I see him as like a guy that was just so much energy at that time that like
he's like a Sosa.
We knew that he wasn't going to be here for the remaining years after. So it's just like, it is what it is with him. But I think, Reese is a good name to bring up just because during those years, he was another guy in the clubhouse that took control as well, I think. And I think that made it a little easier on Bryce's, shoulders too. So,
yeah, I totally agree. And they always had this chemistry between the two of them.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's why it like tugged at my heartstrings a little bit when Milwaukee came here for the first time. Was that was last? Yeah, it was last season. Wow.
Year, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
When they came here for the first time, Reese gets on first, and him and Bryce just kind of hug. And I was like, man, that's a tough scene. Like,
yeah, it is.
And you just saw that stuff. It's like, man, dude, like, I wanted to win one with Reese.
I know.
I did.
Yeah, it's tough.
You got Reese and Nola. It's like, dude, I don't know, man. I just, because you're right. He always had that sidekick kind of thing where it's like, yeah, you can love Bryce Harper because he's a lead guy, but like, this guy's pretty cool too. Like, I don't know. It was just something was there. Matt said, to add to the vibes discussion, you guys remember when Stott said they wouldn't do Wet Bandits anymore because of some BS maturity reason? That's the type of stuff. Yeah. But that's and Matt, that's my point. Like, at the beginning of the year, they didn't look like they were having fun. Nobody's dumping water on anybody. Nobody's laughing. Nobody's nothing. It was just all business. Oh, got to come out tomorrow and win too. Blah, 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 blah. Like, dude, relax. Calm down. Let your hair down a little bit. Let's go.
And sometimes I think that message can, like, it's sometimes good in some aspects, but I think maybe it got to a point where maybe it was too far stretched. And I think like it just, after a while, like the message wasn't really fresh. I feel like maybe it was like, there was moments where it's like, hey, we can have some good vibes. We can have a little bit of fun. But at the same time, it's like, oh, well, I don't know if I want to do that because, you don't want to piss off any other players. And I'm not saying that was causing disruption in the clubhouse. That's not what I'm saying. But like you said, it's such a long season that these guys are humans, and it's like, hey, like we just went on a 6-7 game win streak. You know what I'm saying? Let's have some fun, or we just had a walk off. But like we at the same time we know what the goal is at at hand, and I don't know. I just think sometimes you just got to read the room, I guess. And maybe that message just didn't get through the right way. And we may not know that, but maybe it didn't. Who knows? Maybe just kill some things. I don't know.
And I think you make a good point where it's like, oh, I don't want to piss off this guy, or I don't want to piss off this guy. Like,
yeah.
I think that's the thing about Bryce. Like, he has fun, he has a blast, and he looks like he loves the game, all that stuff. But he's almost, and this was his thing with Reese, it was almost like Harper's the parent that's like real stoic, and they'll correct you when they have to. They won't yell at you, but they'll, And Reese was almost like that guy that's like, he'll put your arm around you, he's like, hey, it's all right, we're good. Not that Bryce doesn't encourage his teammates. That's not what I'm saying. But Reese was always just kind of like, yo, you'll be all right. Just relax a second. You'll be all right. Like, I don't know, man. Like, the dynamic between those two teams was completely different than what we're seeing now, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of which, so let's bring it back to more recent now. And I really want to get into a little bit of this
quite
series.
The tangent I took us on. Sorry, that's my.
No, it's fine. You're good. You're good. No, because it's all good points at the end of the day. It's something to look back on now.
It's all stuff I wanted to discuss. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's stuff that like we really have to like look at now. Looking back at this era, I guess you could say that may or may not be ending. So I mean, I would think it would. But anyway, we'll talk more about that later on towards the end. But really got to just bite the bullet here and talk about this series with the Dodgers. I mean, if there's just got any instant reactions from some of the games, want to go game by game, but just overall, I mean, obviously the series sucks because we didn't win, but I mean, we got to look at some points and situations during this series where really stood out. And obviously, we go to game one, where they jumped out to that 3-0 lead early on in the game. And from that point, I was feeling good myself, just because of how Sanchez came out of the game pitching, striking out Ohtani to start the game and all that. And then the lineup, the offense, they had the one inning where they scored the runs. And after that, it kind of just went silent, unfortunately. And then we all know what happened with the Teoscar home run later in the game to give them the lead. And it's just unfortunate how that game laid out, just because I knew how important it was for them to take game one. And I think everybody knew that going into this year after last year. And it was just questionable decisions, obviously, with the bullpen, David Robertson coming in. But I just think like it's everybody looks at like, game two and obviously last night and stuff like that. But it's like, I looked at game one, man, and it's just like another opportunity that was just missed. And it was just a game that they just needed to have. And it was unfortunate, just the way it laid out, and just like you needed one more out. You needed one more out before the Teoscar Hernandez home run. Like, and I just don't like, I don't get it, man. Like, it was like I was feeling so good like half of that game.
That one gave me a little bit of the same vibe as game one last year against the Mets.
Yeah, with Wheeler and stuff like that.
More comfortable. Obviously, we had a couple more runs, and it was with small ball and stuff like that. Like, I felt nervous, but I didn't. Last year, it was like a sense of impending doom in game one.
Yeah.
This year, I didn't have that. He hits the bomb, and I just go,
yeah.
Like just, I was shocked. Obviously not, that would turn out to be not the most shocked I've ever been, but.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just, dude.
How did you feel?
Teoscar Hernandez. It had to be.
I know, and by the way, I've told you this like a couple times already throughout the series, but like Teoscar Hernandez was sitting right there in free agency last year. I'm just saying, just for everybody to be aware of, we had an opportunity to go sign that guy.
Yeah,
the right-handed bat that we needed. Just saying. But regardless,
Don't
how
worry.
did you?
If Nick got sat for him, he'd cry. So
Yeah, whatever. How did you feel about the decision with Dave Robertson in that game? Like, bring him
you
back out.
don't jog him back out there.
Okay.
I mean,
I feel
come
like,
on.
yeah.
You have a fully rested bullpen. You have 18,000 pitchers on the roster for a 5-game series, which is beyond me, but whatever. And it'll come back to the game too. But it's like, like, it's so tough, dude. So tough. Like, and Sanchez pitched his ass off.
He did. And the other thing is, too, we never saw Robertson after that game. We never saw him again. So if that's the case where Rob didn't trust him, then
who, Robertson?
Yeah, we never saw him.
Okay.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
we never saw him again. That's what
Yeah.
I decided I don't understand. You
Right.
send him out there, he doesn't do the job, and then you never trust him again, and now he's just rotting away in the bullpen. I mean, along with whoever else.
I was trying to
No,
think.
he didn't pitch again after that, dude. It's just, I don't know, man. It's and the other unfortunate part about it is, again, the offense scores, all the runs in one inning, and then it's quiet for the rest of the game. And that's the thing. We saw that at certain points of the regular season, obviously, where they would score all these runs in one inning. And then after that, it was just like, oh, well, like non-existent afterwards. And they were lucky enough to win some games where they ended up coming back later in the game. But for God's sakes, again, it happened where it's just like, it seemed like after Hernandez hit that home run, they were almost like pressing again in a way.
Yes.
And that's kind of that's the feeling that I got later in that game as I was sitting there and I was like, this is exactly what's going to happen. They're going to start trying to play hero ball now because they know they lost the lead. And now they try to have to play hero ball. Like, it's just, and of course, I mean, listen, tip your cap to the Dodgers, I guess, but they had Glass now come on the bullpen that night, so they didn't have to use any of their, bad arms. Up. Yeah, he had good stuff. So it's just
no. He got touched up. Like,
we hit
him. We hit him decent. He only had 1 2/3.
Yeah. So Game 1 was just a tough one. I feel like they just had that one in the bag, and it's just, again, like you said, I mean, it felt like last year a little bit. We scored some more runs, obviously, but
well, that's why I felt more comfortable.
Like, me too. That's what I'm saying.
It was kind of like, all right, we don't have to score a run in every inning. Like, let's just get something going, and we got to a tie, and then we let him settle in. You say it all the time,
dude. I didn't even feel
Let
nervous.
this guy settle in, and then we do every time.
I didn't even feel nervous going into the game, bro. Like, I'm not even trying to sound like I was too cocky, but I just felt good when the game started. Yeah. Like, everything seemed like it was gonna maybe fall into place. And of course, obviously, talk a little bit about it as well as Harrison Bader going out of the game later on. That I feel like
the series.
That killed the vibes, in my opinion. Like, I really think they're, what I'm saying? And that's the thing. It's just like, it's tough that like a guy like him, who, again, he was one of our trade deadline acquisitions. And I just feel like after that, it's like, okay, everything is switched around. You put Marsh in the center field. And I mean, I don't even want to get into Marsh. She was absolutely god awful this series. And I just, it is.
He was so good all year.
I know. And he came up in some spots.
Ever since he came back from that injury, just like, dude.
I know. And real quick, I guess we'll get into game 2 real quick. Obviously, was kind of quiet for most of the first couple of innings. It was kind of a pitching battle between Luzardo and Snell. Snell was kind of just tearing us apart. I mean, we were getting no hit into the 5th inning, so that kind of explained everything there.
Dude, that was
that one was
That's the game I was at.
Oh yeah, you were at that game. Yeah.
That's why I made that face. Yeah.
Henry said that game, unfortunately. So,
by the way, real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just need to get this off my chest.
Go ahead.
The people who sat in the bleachers sucked. There was a guy 3 seats away from me who was awesome. He was cheering, going nuts. He was cracking jokes, everything. He walked out during the Duran entrance, which, by the way, let's get something straight here. Why are you doing the Duran entrance when it's not even a safe situation 2 nights in a row? I digress. He was walking out, and I was like, "Thanks for trying to keep the vibes up." I said, "Thanks for showing some spirit," or whatever I said. I was like, "Thanks for showing some fight." That's what I said, and he was like, "I don't get it." Nobody was standing. Nobody was doing nothing. Like, it's so annoying, dude. So annoying. And I just that game was so frustrating to watch because it just went downhill as the game went on. Yeah. And then they got a hit, and it's like, it was like a sarcastic cheer.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously we know the moment later in the game, obviously with the bunt from Stott, and then eventually, Nick Castellanos got thrown out of third.
Well, I mean,
I think,
don't discount what Cassie did because that was after the double.
No, yeah, well, I mean, Cassie had the double obviously to score the runs, which I mean, shout out to him. Cassie coming up in another big moment. I guess you got to hand it to him, but after that with the bunt, listen. There's been so many discussions about it, and if Thompson made him do it or told him to do it, and if he did it the right way, and all this other stuff. Obviously the Dodgers ran the wheel play or whatever you want to call it. I think at the end of the day, it's just a situation. Like, it was annoying, yes. I don't think you take the bat out of Stott's hands. But again, if he doesn't bunt and then doesn't get a hit or something like that, then people are saying, "Oh, why didn't you bunt in that situation?" So I think it's a tough one to be on either side. I guess it's like a seesaw in a way. And listen, again, I think it comes down to just situational awareness, I guess. And I think at the end of the day, as much as it was a great bunt, and I think the Dodgers just made a better play on it. And Castellanos not being a great base runner didn't help the situation because, I mean, he was out by a mile. So it's just like, after that, though, you could just feel the air come out of the building. And I mean, you can speak for yourself. I mean, you were there, and I can't even imagine what it's like after the freaking got thrown out third base.
So I have a funny story.
All right, go ahead.
I think I might have told you this. I don't know, but when I got there, it was like, I was like, let me do a couple laps around the stadium, just to take it in, taking Red October, feel the electricity. I walked past the radio booth. Nobody's there. Or they were on air, so I just left them alone. I kept walking. Did another lap, trying to figure out what I wanted to eat, and saw Fritz, friend of the show.
Yep.
Talked to him for a minute or two, nothing crazy. And the seventh inning hits, and he's walking around by himself, and I see him down, like, because I was in the first row of the bleachers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if anybody that's watching this doesn't know me, but I couldn't stand up because I'm 6'3". So I couldn't block anybody's view, which sucked. But I saw him walking. I'm like, oh man, that's a shame, because I know how Jack is. And then he comes up the stairs and he sees me, and he just shakes his head. And I shook my head. That's all I can do. So he goes up to the top row, and gains in the eighth inning or whatever it was. Castellanos gets to the ninth, and it's like, because they scored a run in the eighth, and it was like, and I was thinking, like, okay, Chris Paul meme, like, we're toast. Like,
yeah.
There's no way. Like, there's no way we come back. Two guys are on base for Castellanos. He hits the double, which should have been a long single because I don't know why he went.
He was lucky to get in safe.
But, oh my, dude, you have no idea. I've never seen him that agile getting around that tag. So they show the replay because there was a challenge, and everybody's going, safe, safe, safe. So I look up, and Jack is just deadpan as they're watching the replay.
Yeah.
Figures out they're safe. Then there's a meeting. He comes down to me, and he, like, grabs me by, like, my shoulders and, like, slaps me on the chest. And he's like, come on, one time. We need one time. And because we're all thinking to ourselves, like, dude, we get a nice single here, and Cassie gets a good jump. He's in, and we're tied. This is the bottom of the ninth. Like, let's go. Like, it's right there.
Yeah, getting fired up. Yeah.
And 2 pitches later, Stott does that think, and Cassie just gets thrown out. It's like, oh my God. Like, I don't know how you felt about it, because we talked about it, but if you have two players that are just equal skill, just plain average MLB players, average speed, average everything, that probably works.
Yeah.
But you have the slowest person on our 26-man roster on second base. And again, like you said, you don't want to take the bat out of Stott's hands because he's good for a nice gap hit.
Yeah.
Dude, you took the bat out of one of your most consistent hitters' hands, and then you still ran Castellanos. And this is where that comes in about the stupid 150 pitchers that we had on the roster. You don't have anybody to pinch run for him. Now, you don't have anybody to pinch run because Bader came up to hit, and you had to run Weston Wilson for him because he's got a strained groin or hamstring. You're not going to test that.
Which shout out to him, by the way, for going up there, actually having 100%. Some balls to hit the ball, dude. I mean, like, my goodness. Like, a guy with a groin strain is up there hitting the ball. Why nobody else can freaking do it?
He's on one leg, and he's working better at bats than the entire team put together. I totally agree. We need him back, but that's for another day.
Yes.
So he does what Bader does and gets a nice single down a left field line. Boom. He's in first. Weston Wilson comes out. You're like, all right, cool. That was predictable. What you didn't expect was Nick Castellanos to actually get a friggin' hit and end up on second base and need a pinch runner. Now, don't know if this matters, really. If Stubbs is on the roster, you can jog him out.
Yeah.
Couldn't you?
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, theoretically.
Yeah.
Then you could put Otto Kemp in because was Kemp starting? He wasn't, right?
Kemp started that game, yeah. He started game 2.
Oh, yeah, he was in the outfield. Yeah. What am I saying? Oh, yeah, because Bader pinch hit for him. No. Dude, I'm losing my mind.
Again, though, the whole point is not having enough freaking bench players or whatever on the roster because you wanted to have more pitchers on the roster, which you didn't even use all the pitchers. Like, I mean, you have Walker Buehler just holding up a spot. Didn't see him get in the game. Taijuan Walker comes into game 3. Yeah, whatever. At the end of the game, he was barely used. It's just like, I don't understand, especially for a 5-game series. People have talked about this. For a 5-game series, you do not need more pitchers than you need players or just outfield, infield doesn't matter. Just bench players, I guess. And I just, like, again, it's just another decision that's just like, you get into that spot and then, like, it's like everybody's looking around. It's like, okay, well, what do we do now? It's like nobody knew how to adjust.
Like, who can go in for him? And and here's how it played out. So Stott obviously pinch hit for Sosa when a righty came in.
Yeah.
I mean, Bader pinch hits for Marsh.
Yeah.
And then gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And Wilson has to come out and run for him. And Kepler already batted for Kemp. So, like, off the bat, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 out of your 26 players played.
Yeah.
And then don't forget your 12 pitchers. Most of them not used. That's 25. You got one extra spot. You know who it is? Rafael Sean.
It's like, oh my God. I'm laughing because it's just like it's ridiculous.
It's
ridiculous.
I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have the strongest bullpen, and I know that sometimes in a pinch you might have to move a couple guys around, whatever. I don't care. But jeez, man. Talk about pointless.
Yeah, and then I guess Turner was the last out, and Freddie Freeman scooped up like the one ball that was thrown by Edemy, scoops it out of the dirt, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, he scoops it out!"
A Gold Glove first baseman made a play.
I mean,
oh my God!
I'm sorry. I understand Brian Anderson's a good play-by-play, but like he needs to relax a little bit, dude.
He's
like
sucked. You would have thought if you watched those games, you wouldn't even be able to tell me who the Dodgers were playing. They didn't talk about the Phillies at all. At all. And I was listening to the 3-0 Take podcast today, which I was just sitting there like the kid that is crying and mad. I wasn't crying, but like he's crying. It's the gif of the kid that's sitting at the table and he's crying and he just That was me. Listen to this podcast because I'm like, they're saying everything that I'm thinking. Like, dude, it drove me nuts. And they said this, and it's like, we need the local broadcast to have something. Have it on a streaming service. Have it on something. I can't these guys have no insight to these rosters. They don't know these guys. Isn't what's his name? Brian Anderson, the home announcer for the Dodgers, or is that Brian Burkhart?
Joe Davis is the home one
Joe
for the
Davis,
Dodgers.
whatever his
Yeah,
name.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't care.
We
They're
love
all
Joe
the same
Davis,
to
though.
me. Yeah, you love. Yeah, well,
I love Joe Davis.
Whatever. Anyway, they don't have any insight to this team. They don't have any feel. They don't have anything. It's just like, well, yeah, when you get players on base, you need to capitalize. No shit. Obviously. No, like, oh, well, like, perfect example. When you bring Kirkring in last night, and we'll get to it in a little bit. When you bring him in last night with guys on base, Tom McCarthy and LA, or Tom McCarthy and Kruk will be sitting there like, not the best with inherited runners. He's been doing it all season, blah, 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 blah. They have all that's ready. These national guys are just like, oh, there's another pitcher being used. They don't know anything. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't know anything. I just anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, so that game 2, another opportunity where they could have took back momentum, and then it's like you walk out of, you leave CBP down 2-0, and it's just like didn't feel great. I wasn't trying to think about that, but I just felt like, because maybe going to LA, I felt like a little confidence because they played well in LA all season, ironically enough. Clinched the division.
And in those first 2 games, we didn't even play good, and we barely lost.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Again, though, it brings back to the point of we basically just shot ourselves in the foot. Of
course, I'm saying, like, that's
yeah.
Because the next day I woke up and I said, "Don't let the Phillies win tonight."
Yeah. So that brings us.
I just kept thinking of Kevin Millar.
Yeah, that brings us into the third game. Phillies ended up winning, so I guess that's one of the positive games we could talk about. I mean, listen, it wasn't easy, to say the least. It wasn't at first, because we thought you had Yamamoto going, and we're like, okay, we might be cooked. And we had Aaron Nola starting out. He was only going to be one time through the inning, and then they handed it to Suarez. But I mean, you couldn't ask enough from what Nola gave us through that one time through the lineup, and then Ranger Suarez like pitched out of his mind, and I'm pretty glad to see that he was okay, I guess, because he probably could have pitched in one of the first 2 games, but apparently that wasn't in the books.
I know.
So
in game 2, he got up 3 times.
I don't know, but I'm glad to see that he was feeling okay, because he pitched an amazing game the other night. And again, like, shout out to Nola. I mean, for a guy that's usually known for going 5-6 innings for the most part. I mean, I guess earlier in his career, I guess you could say, not right now, because he struggled all season. But regardless, just for him to go out there and do a job like that for the team, I respect it. And I mean, for a guy like Nola, who has been here his whole career and now has been taking heat, obviously, with the contract stuff, whatever, how long that's going to be, whatever. But shout out to him. I was really impressed with that, and really awesome to see.
I was glad he proved some people wrong. Everybody, as soon as Topper said, "Oh well, it's going to be Nola for game 3," because everybody assumed it was Suarez, and a reporter was like, "Okay, so you're going to start Ranger for game 3, correct?" No, it's going to be Nola, and it's going to be Ranger. Everybody was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And I thought to myself, I was like, "Okay, like I'm not saying that it's the most viable option, but it's not a bad idea." And like Nola's proven himself the first time through the order, like he's okay. Like we're going to be all right. And I didn't think that it was going to be shut down like it was, but they pull him, and then Ranger goes in and gives up a home run on the first pitch. And Dan texted me, and he goes, "Oh, still think you should have pulled him?" Because I thought it was a perfect spot to pull Nola, and they said that it worked out perfect because they wanted Ranger on Edmund, because Edmund was like 1 for 22 or something against Ranger with like
and they hit a homer,
and then hit a homer, right? And I mean, dude, stuff happens. Like, it is what it is. I thought the season was over when I saw that, quite frankly. But
yeah, exactly.
So you're like, okay, like Nola did his job, and everybody the next day was like, you know what? Shame on me. Like the morning host on WIP, Jody Cameron, he was like, a lot of people were going to be critical of Nola, and I was one of the biggest ones. So I was wrong, and there were a lot of people saying they were wrong. So it was cool to see Nola, a guy that's homegrown, get that spot and be like, I contributed because I did what's best for the team.
Yeah.
And JT even said that's the kind of guy he is. He said, you're surprised? We're not.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Exactly. So yeah, shout out to those guys. And then obviously the big Schwarber home run to tie the game. I mean, that was a monstrous.
Ball landed yet?
Yeah. Well, would have been nice to see that a couple more times throughout the series, but it was definitely one of those ones that was like kind of lit a fire into them for that game, and then they ended up taking off. Later in the game, they kind of piled on some more runs. JT hit the homer, Trey drove in some runs and stuff like that. Ended up winning 8-1.
That JT homer was
8-2.
huge.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it was. That's the thing. That's a moment right there. Just situationally, it's just like
you get to keep the run. Them blowing it open was massive from so many perspectives because then you can keep the run for the next day. Because if he pitches that night, then he's only pitching one the next night, which, I mean, obviously turned out the way it turned out. But,
But Thompson was planning on using him for, I think, like at least 2 innings that night,
right?
Though.
Yeah.
And that was the part that we felt great about, though, going into yesterday's game was like, okay, Duran wasn't used at all. And it's just, you throw Taiwan out there, and for God's sakes, he had to get pulled for Ohtani because he can't, handle getting outs, being up freaking 7 runs. Yeah, but anyway. And then even a guy like Tanner Banks came in for 1 pitch, and then we never saw him again, I think, during the series. Unless he pitched in game 1 or 2, I don't remember. But, again, just another guy.
He pitched game 2.
Okay, so he pitched game 2. But, again, another guy that just, was not used, barely used or whatever. So, unfortunately, that game is obviously going to be forgotten about now for the most part. I mean, nobody's going to talk about it. So nope. I guess we could just move into game 4 at this point and just kind of get this over with for this game. Just
hold on real fast. Did you see the last comment? Connor just said, we'll get to the other ones as well. Connor just said this perfect timing. What are your thoughts on Trey bunting to open up game 4? I thought was that game
that was
3
game.
That
was game. That might have been game 3, wasn't it?
I think it was. Game 3. I think it was.
Yeah.
Connor didn't think it was a funny joke. I thought I was getting punked. So.
Yeah, no. Honestly, especially being down 2-0 and he comes out bunting, I just I didn't feel great about the vibes. And I was just I was like, at the end, I'm glad that we don't have to remember him bunting to start off the game. Not really the message you want to send. Right. So wasn't a fan of it.
Sorry, I had to get that comment in there.
No, it's fine. I mean, it's hey. He said either way, batting champ bunts to open the game. Yeah, well, wasn't really doing much else for us. So I guess he had to, switch it up a little bit. But regardless, so yeah, game 4, going into it, they had Tyler Glasnow going. We had Christopher Sanchez. I mean, again, Sanchez pitching his ass off.
I don't even want to talk about this.
Well, I mean,
no, I know. I'm just saying, go ahead.
I know.
Sorry.
For some reason, I heard going into the game that Glasnow, he did terrible against us earlier in the season when he was in Philly or whatever. Obviously, it's a different time. I get it. But I don't know. I going into the game, I wasn't nervous about Glasnow, but I just felt like there was too much smoke about him in the playoffs and stuff like that. And I just felt like if they were going to be able to get to him, they needed to get to him early. And they had the opportunity to. They had runners on first and third to start the game. And they couldn't drive the runs in.
Yeah.
And after that inning, that was when I didn't feel uneasy, but I just knew that, okay, this is going to be a battle. And especially with the way Sanchez was pitching throughout the game, it was a pitching battle up until later in the game, obviously. And I was proud to see Sanchez doing that, but at the same time, again, the bats just, for some reason, it's like they started getting jumpy again at certain times where they're just they're not
open up with a double. A 1-out double in the first.
Yeah.
And Matt puts in the comments, put this in here a little while ago.
Yeah.
Even though we balled out game 3, I saw signs. I texted Henry about the issues with leaving men on base. That was a red flag all season. Exactly. And that was the biggest problem with game 4, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's a credit to Glasnow for working out of those situations. Because, the starting pitching this series was, ridiculous.
It was
on both sides. It was unbelievable. These are 2 juggernauts, but like Matt was right. Like it's just every inning, it seemed like there was somebody on base, and they were just like, "Can't do anything for you, sorry." It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that's the thing. As the game continued on, it just like you felt like tense again. Like as a fan, you felt tense, and I was all over the superstition journey. Like the last 2 days, or whatever, I was wearing the same clothes to work. I was doing the same routine. The last 2 mornings and stuff. I was switching chairs all over the place in the room, and obviously it ended up not working out or whatever. But yeah, and then obviously we get into later in the game, and the whole thing. We go up 1-0 again. Cassiano comes through and drives in a run, and the annoying part about that at the end of that inning was they had a guy on second with Trey up, and he ends up striking out, swinging at a slider 8 feet off the plate, of course, and that right there was like they needed that run, and you can sense it a little bit where it's like it was great to get the one run, but you just knew it wasn't going to be enough. And that's the unfortunate part about it, is that that mindset I had where it was like, one run's not going to beat this team. Like, we need another run. And Trey, again, just going up there, jumpy as usual. And I just don't understand. I just don't get it. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, bro, like, do we not have any awareness? Have we not learned our lesson from the last couple of years? And again, shooting themselves in the foot. You have an opportunity to drive in another run.
Yeah.
And then, Deron comes in, that whole situation with the bases loaded and then walks in. I mean, how did you feel about that? Would you have wanted him to face Ohtani, or were you okay with him intentionally walk?
Ohtani's too much of a threat. You got to walk him.
I don't know, man.
I understand. I get it. I understand where you're coming from.
He was 1 for 17 in the series.
Okay, but that's
the guy's looking for a hit, right? The guy he is dying for a hit, right? So he's up there swinging. He's up there looking to be like, I need to get on base. I haven't done anything.
That.
So
I understand.
Who knows? He might press a little bit, especially against Duran.
I get that. I'm just saying, whether he's pressing or not, yeah, you're 1 for 17, but he's the best hitter on the planet, and Duran had never, ever walked in a run with bases loaded, ever.
Yeah, and of course that time he walks in the freaking run. Like, dude, just throw a strike, bro. I understand it's Mookie Betts.
That's the other thing.
I get it. He's an MVP, whatever, but just throw a strike. Just challenge the guy. Throw 102. You've been throwing 102 and 103 the last half of the season with this team, and you're telling 98. Me, oh yeah, the 8th. Regardless,
now you're throwing 98. I said.
Oh yeah, now you're throwing 98 and then there's 100 above the zone. It's just like, dude, like I don't understand, bro. Like I don't get it. Like, and of course he walks in the run. Like I just like, oh my god.
And real fast. Now that you're talking about that run, I don't know if you see Connor's comment.
I did, yes, about Sanchez
missing strike 3 call leading to the tying run. Then the ump tells Sanchez he missed the call. ABS can't come soon enough or need to keep umps. I'm done. I'm done. Get the robots. Get Wally from that Disney movie for all I care. Dude, he missed that call. Okay. That's fine. Bro, and Matt just said it. Ump should never tell a pitcher he missed a call. Height of unprofessionalism. I'm not the biggest ABS fan, but damn, we need it. I don't want automatic balls and strikes. Like, I want the challenge system. Bro, because this is my biggest problem. And I said this to a guy at work today, because it's shocking to actually talk to people today, surprisingly.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk to nobody at work.
I just had to. I said, if the roles are reversed and Sanchez comes out after the game and goes, and Diego would probably clean up whatever he has to say. But if he was like, yeah, I wanted that strike 3 call. It was clearly in the zone. The ump didn't call it, and I'm getting really sick of it. He's fined. He's fined real cash dollars. But these guys could be like, nope, screwed that one up. Sorry, man. Hope it doesn't cost you your season. And it did. You moron. I'm sorry. I'm so sick and tired of these umpires who don't know how to do their jobs. They don't know how to do their jobs. And this is not the reason we lost. It's not at all. I'm totally aware of that. But it just pisses me off because it's one of those things. I follow this umpire auditor account on Twitter. So what it does is it shows all the pitches that were called incorrectly.
Yeah.
It gives you the 3 most impactful calls of the game.
Yeah.
11 out of 12 of those calls in the 4 games went against the Phillies. That is disgusting. And then the next inning, just as a cosmic kick in the nads, he calls a strike that's at Schwarber's forehead. I thought he was going to turn around and hit him with like a people's elbow or something. It's atrocious. It is atrocious. Dude, I can't stand it anymore. And honestly, I wouldn't be this mad if he didn't apologize. Like, that makes me feel so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, I just listen, it again, not the reason why we lost.
It's so frustrating, bro.
It's a big moment. You just can't make that type of call. And again, honestly, I would have done without the apology, bro. Don't even walk up to me at that point.
That's what I'm saying. Like
just don't even walk up to me, bro. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm about to slap the shit out of you, bro. Like, if somebody no, dude, like, just
100%.
And you saw Sanchez's reaction. He's just like, dude, like,
and he
come on.
Calling it all night. He called pitches that were even more outside strikes. And that's what Matt said. I could deal with an umpire that calls balls in the zone, but is consistent. That ump was calling strikes inside. That's my point. Exact point. Dude, it drives me nuts. If I ever see that guy in public, I'm going to spear him like I'm in a WWE. I promise you. Dude, I can't take it anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I may be getting irrationally mad, but that cost us our season.
Yeah.
That's why this podcast isn't being done on Sunday after the series. Like, God, just do your job the right way. Yeah. You suck. And then waiting 20 seconds to call a strike. What was that about?
Yeah. Yeah, the hesitation needs to stop. So,
sorry.
So yeah. No, yeah, you're fine. You're good. Yeah, just terrible call in the moment. One that came back to bite us. And then real quick before we get into the Kirking situation, because I want to get to that, we gotta start moving along here. But just Roki Sasaki just absolutely mowing our lineup down those next couple of innings leading to the 11th.
Real fast, in case you're curious, they pulled George Kirby out of the Seattle game, and then Kerry Carpenter hit a 2-run home run. It's 2-1 Detroit.
Nice.
Bottom of the 6. 66 pitches they put George Kirby.
Well, there you go.
Yikes.
So,
anyway.
But yeah, so Roki Sasaki really was just kind of making it difficult for us in the later innings, and we just the offense just couldn't get into rhythm. And again, I mean, listen, the Dodgers just played it out well with him, I guess, at the end of the season, putting him in the bullpen, and the guy is just absolutely like lost his mind, like in the bullpen. And I mean that in a way of like he's just going crazy, basically. So it's just like another thing that we had to overcome, and we couldn't because the lineup again just couldn't relax for a second, which was really just annoying. And then we get to the 11th inning. And then the situation where, you have Luzardo going for those couple innings or whatever. And it sucks because you were like, okay, Luzardo's going to come into this game, give us what he can. But then, if we did make it to a game 5, that like he was supposed to be the starter. So you just didn't know how that was going to work out. But at that moment in time, it's like, listen, you got to just leave it out there for us. Like, this is going to be our last game or whatever. And shout out to Luzardo, man. I'll tell you something right now. I am so excited. I'm hoping that he stays with us going into next season because
he has to. He has a contract.
Does he? Okay, so we do have him on contract. That's what I thought.
Yeah. He had 2 years of control. Yes.
Okay. For some reason I thought we had to do contract discussions with him. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm excited for him going into next year. I think I saw a lot from Luzardo throughout the season. I won't get too much into it, but obviously he had some mishaps, throughout it, and every pitcher does whatever. But I think what he showed us last night in that game was really something that I'm proud of, and I'm glad that trade worked out for us in the end because I think it did. So
100%. He's a dog.
He is. And it's unfortunate that he ended up giving up those 2 hits or whatever and then had to get taken out of the game. And that's when Orion Kirkering came into the game with inherited runners, which didn't really work out for him all year. So we were kind of preparing ourselves for the worst possible outcome. But we didn't think the worst possible outcome was him overthrowing JT at the plate, which led to the winning run. And I think, obviously, it's been talked about. It's been one of the main things talked about all day today. And listen, I know we said it for a split second or whatever, but like, not really blaming Orion Kirkering. You know, I think the moment just got to him, and I think it was something that like is unfortunate just because it's like he had the opportunity at first base just to go there and get out of the inning, and I think it's just all just in one moment just kind of just stopped, and then he just was like, and he just freaked out, and it was just a bad throw, and unfortunately, that's what ended our season. And I'm not gonna lie with you, at the time, because we were on the phone together watching the game. I just sat there with a like blank stare on my face. Like I didn't even be like, oh my god, what are you doing? Like I literally just sat there and I just said,
Did you see what
wow.
I did when that happened?
No, I
just
didn't. 'Cause I was yeah.
sitting there with my mouth open, just like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I can't believe that. Because I've been a part of a lot of Philly sports losses. Not a part, but like.
Yeah, but been through it.
So this is the way I have to describe this. And I really apologize for doing this. But you're not an Eagles fan.
Thanks for outing me, but go ahead, yeah.
You're not. You're not. You're not.
I know I'm not.
You're
Yeah,
not.
it's fine.
Maybe
Yeah,
a
it's
Cowboys
fine.
fan, but that's okay. Everybody in
kidding.
here knows. I'm pretty sure. At
I
least,
know, probably does.
you know,
Yeah,
anyway,
I'm joking.
Anyway.
Go ahead. Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding. But and the reason I bring that up is because in the last, I guess, less than 10. Yep, there it is. That just said Bradbury.
Yeah.
When we were in the Super Bowl, we make a stop and then we get a flag, and it takes the Super Bowl right out from under us. When Ben Simmons passed a ball under the rim to Matisse Thybulle in the Atlanta Hawks game to ice it because he didn't want to get fouled. The Kawhi Leonard shot that bounces 4 times and goes in. More recently, Kyle Tucker catching that ball. Or, no, Chaz McCormick, whoever it was.
Yeah.
In center field. The Yordan Alvarez home run. It's just nothing but heartbreak.
Yeah.
And it's these images. It's not just heartbreak either. These are like monumental games in American sports.
Yeah.
Like, and they're always on the biggest stages. Always.
Yeah.
I mean, era-ending moments, exactly. I mean, Howard's Achilles. Just this tornado of bad stuff. Now, Eagles have won 2 championships in that span. So for me, it's a little easier.
Yeah.
For you, it's not as easy.
No.
And I don't mean that as an insult.
No, that's fine.
But we talked about the other day. You're like, I'm not really, because you're really not all that into football. Like, you're not.
No, yeah. Not as much as I am in baseball, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I have those 2 to like hang my hat on a little bit and be like, at least I was there. But you don't have anything.
I know, yeah.
So I don't know how you handle this. Because, I mean, we both love the Phillies more than we love any team. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
The Eagles are a close second for me. And the Sixers, before they became poverty, weren't bad. But, you know, like, it's constant. It's constant. And there are these images of, like, and before we won game 3, I thought it was going to be the stop bunt, just sitting there like, you know, with his hand out. I'm like, that's going to be a meme. Like, this is great. Kawhi squatting, watching the ball with Embiid over his shoulder. I mean, Ben Simmons just handed the ball. Like, the flag. It's just, dude, it's constant. And it is so painful that every year they bring us in and then they do something like that. And there's nobody I feel worse for today than Orion Kirkring. He is 24 years old. He's 2 years younger than I am right now.
Yeah.
And I'm on a podcast talking about him. Think about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so in that moment, everybody's like, I can't believe he didn't make that play. I get it. I know. But when you have 50,000 people, when you have bases loaded, 2 outs in the bottom of the 11th inning of a playoff game, a win or go home game, that's enough pressure as it is. And yeah, you're supposed to know what happens with the ball, but as soon as you boot it, time either stands still or it just goes, and it's over before you even know what happened. He blacked out. He blacked out. He booted it, and maybe he saw JT pointing to first. Maybe he thought he could just go home because he was right there. Dude, it is what it is. It's a shame that it came down to that, and that was the moment that ended it. But baseball, like I said, it's the cruelest sport of them all, dude. It really is. Like, you can't write these endings, man. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad. But it's the best game in the world for that same exact reason. And it's just like, bro, that could have happened in the first inning and nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that could have happened in the first inning and nobody cares. But since it happened with the season line, it's even worse. And that's Matt, that's the exact picture I'm talking about. I couldn't have mentally prepared myself for that picture of JT pointing to first. It's going to live in my head forever.
Yeah.
And I kind of took that over. I just
it's fine. You basically kind of put half of it out there. I mean, for me, it was a numbing moment, and I think like it's unfortunate I have to say that I'm numb to this type of stuff. And I think like in the moment, like I was like in shock, and I just was like, I think for me, what happened was it was kind of just like everything just kind of came back to me in a quick second of just from the beginning of the season, from spring training till now. And this is how the season ends. And it's just like, it's unfortunate that like Kirkring had to be in that position because Kirkring has fought his way up to the majors. And we all know his story back in 23. He came up and then he made the postseason roster. Yeah. And he struggled a little bit. And now he's been put into conversations in the last couple of years of being this team's closer. And now that Duran's here, now he gets put into, the 7th, 8th inning spots, whatever. He's at least trying to.
The setup man, right.
Yeah, the setup man. And it's just like, it's unfortunate. And like, I don't put any. It's an awful play to end the season on or whatever. I get it, but I don't put any of the full blame on him because other stuff plays into it. And I feel for him. And listen, I think he's got to keep his head up, and I think he's going to be better for it, in my opinion, going into the next couple of years. So it was. I don't know, man. I explained to you last night, just leading up to that. And listen, I didn't expect it to end like that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'd rather have it just been a walk-off homer for all I care.
I'd rather be a walk-off hit.
That would have been like, hit.
Damn, whatever. It is what
I don't care.
Like, yeah.
But, and I just like, it was a slow march to a painful death. And that's what I could just feel the moment that it was like going to crumble, but not crumble that bad. And yeah, unfortunately it just played out how it played out. And that's how it just kind of ended the season, unfortunately. So, real quick, because I know we're going a little on time here. I mean, listen, we knew this was going to be a packed show for the most part.
Real fast, I want to read something that happened with Kyle Schwarber.
All right, go ahead.
He is one of, if I had to guess, probably one of the best human beings in baseball. Orion, I read an article from Matt Gelb, and dude, I just don't. Schwarber's a free agent, as we've outlined.
Yeah.
And right now he's not a Philadelphia Philly, and that sucks. But Orion didn't get changed for 40 minutes after the game. He stood up to the media. He did everything he had to do.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan. Matt just said I want him back next year. I do too. And I hope that next time, I don't know if it's a hot take, but I want Kirkring back next year. He's young, coachable, has good stuff, and will have a chip on his shoulder moving forward. And I think that the best part about the Phillies fan base is the second he steps on the mound next year, he will get louder cheers than anybody else. I promise you that.
Yeah, probably.
And back to the Schwarber thing. Kirkring got showered and dressed and went out to the field and stared at the mound. And Matt Gelb wrote in the article that Schwarber was looking for him, and he found him outside. And he put his arm around him, and he goes, "You're going to be okay. It's time to stop staring."
Yeah.
Is what he said.
Yeah.
And to me, that shows more about Schwarber's character than anything on the field ever could.
For sure.
I mean, obviously, he's not you're still a part of that clubhouse with those guys 100%.
Yeah.
But the fact that, he's being hit with questions about salary and everything else, and his first response is, I need to go comfort this guy real quick because he's having the worst day of his life.
For sure.
Of his professional career. He's having the worst day of his professional career. This is my job. You guys can wait. And he just puts his arm around him and says, we're going to be all right. It's not on you. That to me says more about Kyle Schwarber than anything on the field ever will. 56 home runs is awesome, but when you're a good person, that means more to me than baseball, honestly.
For sure. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that because that's been on my mind all day. Like, it's just.
Yeah, no, it's a touching story, and I didn't know about that because I can't read any of these articles.
It's the paywall. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
But yeah, it's a great thing here, and that's how Schwarber is, and that's how he's always been, though. Like in my opinion, it's always been like that since he's gotten here. So to me, it's not a shocker because that's just how he is as a teammate.
I mean, me neither. It just took me back.
Yeah,
considering the fact that like he's not a rostered player right now, and it's just like he didn't care about anything they had to ask him or anything. He wanted to comfort that guy in that moment. Like that, it just says a lot. I'm done getting on my soapbox. You move on. Sorry.
For sure. And then also shout out to Castellanos. He was running from the outfield to Kirkring while everyone else walked out. I did see that.
And it's so funny because he's so like stoic and he doesn't like nobody like he doesn't really talk and stuff. And he's the first one to do stuff like that. It's like when he was waving the towel for Trey when we gave him the standing O.
Yeah.
And JT went right out to him, and Topper didn't even let him go down the steps of the dugout.
Yeah.
They were there for him, and they asked him about that, and he said, it just shows they care about me. And as he said it, he was getting choked up. And you're like, dude, this kid, he's a kid. And that just happened. I can't believe it.
And real quick, so just to wrap up the series in general, I mean, what is your overall takeaway from the NLDS? If you had to explain in one word or multiple sentences, I guess.
I think that it's hard to. I don't know, dude. You go. I gotta think of something. Not that I wasn't prepared.
No, you're good. I would say my complete, overall take from this series is that they did it to themselves.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and I said it to myself. I was like, I don't care who it is, man. Whether it's coaching, players. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the players who had to make the plays on the field, and they just didn't. And they came up short in the biggest moments. And unfortunately, I have to say, you tip your hats to the Dodgers because they made winning plays and we didn't. And they had chances to come through, and they just didn't. They continuously shot themselves in the foot. And the only people that they can blame is themselves, and they have to look in the mirror. And it sucks for me to have to say that because I love this team. I love these guys, but they did it to themselves, man. So that's what I take away from this series.
I would agree, and I'm a little more inclined to run it back than I was when I started this series.
Yeah,
I thought it was
I
going
don't
to
know.
be how it up, and that's going to be that, and we're going to have to figure it out. But I'm at this place with this team where I don't know what's next. I think, maybe some guys are going to walk, maybe they're not. I don't know. Some of these moves I have to see what these free agents and stuff are going to do.
Yeah, and
But
we're going to do more of that at one point with the free agent talk and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then real quick, before we get into our closing remarks and stuff like that for the year, just a quick question. You don't have to go too much into it. And thank you. Shout out to everybody who's still here with us. I know it's a little longer than usual, but yeah. So question of the day is, do you think Rob Thompson is back as manager next year, or do you see him getting let go?
I don't think he'll get fired. I think if he leaves, it'll be a mutual thing, or he'll retire. Like I don't think that they're going to fire him.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, if it's not Bruce Bochy, then what's the point? Then why fire him?
Yeah, true.
Like I can't fathom going from him to like some guy that like has to prove himself.
Yeah,
I can't. I just can't. And I mean, he's a good guy and all, but like he's a baseball mind that I think. I mean, did he push all the right buttons this time? No. Did some of them come back to bite him? Yeah. Did his players screw him a little bit? Yeah. That happens. That's baseball. And he knows it better than anybody. And when he's asked about, are you going to be back next year? I don't know. I have 60 guys I need to go console in there because they're heartbroken. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this. I don't think he deserves to get fired. But unfortunately, to me, there's a gut feeling that I feel like he will get let go. And I'm not saying, like I said, I don't think he deserves to. I know there's been decisions that he's made that people don't agree with, and that can all be up for debate. We won't get too much into it or whatever today. But I just think, unfortunately, there's going to have to be a scapegoat. And I think if there's a scapegoat, it's going to be Rob Thompson. So I honestly, as much as it's hard for me to say because I love Topper and I think he's had success here, obviously not the main goal, but he's done well for the franchise. I just think, I don't know why, I just think he might get let go, man. And it's going to be tough if it happens. So it remains to be seen, and we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. So, but yeah, as we close up here, where do we go, I guess, from here, and how do we feel about the future? I mean, I'm feeling pretty good to say, at least, I feel like we'll still be competitive in years to come. And I think, going into next year, there's going to be a lot of question marks and a lot of decisions that have to be made this time around. Yep. I know last year we were like, oh, well, like, we don't want them to run it back, and they ended up doing it anyway. And we kind of just went along for the ride just to see how this would end, doing it one last time. And now I think right now it's just that they have to make tough decisions, man. And they have to.
And everything's extremely up in the air.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just, it's going to be a long and interesting off season. I don't even want to use the word interesting. I feel like it's more of just going to be a wait and see. And I just, whatever it is, I hope it just gets us to where we need to be. At one point, because I'm just waiting for the moment. I'm waiting for the time that we have where, we're going late into October, early November. And I just want the moment, man. And I want this team to meet the moment. And they just didn't, you know what I'm saying? And now it's it's their own faults, in my opinion. And now we got to go into another long off season. So I'm, just got to fasten your seatbelts here and just start looking ahead, I guess. It's unfortunate that it has to come to this again for another year. So
I agree. I'm at a loss for the fact that we have to do this pod again. I know. I mean, shout out to all the people that are supporting us.
Yep.
I mean, our girlfriends are dealing with us having recording schedules and all that stuff, and all we talk about is the Phillies and
the parents.
I know Gabby's sometimes like, holy cow, like what? Like you guys are recording again? It's like, yeah, well, it's almost like it's just something that I love doing, and she supports me a lot. So shout out to her. Shout out to my parents,
Yep.
parents, everybody.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, all our viewers, all of our listeners.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I was just saying, like, No, you're good. You're good. I was just gonna say, I was gonna finish your sentence and just say we appreciate all you guys, all season long. This is gonna be we just finished our second season now, and obviously we're gonna do a couple stuff like before the year ends, off season stuff, whatever. But just for as one of the main pods, I think like it was another step for us this year, in following this team along the way, and I think we still have some more big things to come, and I feel like we have so much more room for improvement. And I feel like just everybody that listens to us, watches us, joins us and stuff for these live ones this year. And we even got to do in-person shoots and stuff, which was just another step for us.
Man, that feels like it was years ago, don't it?
I know. We haven't done an in-person one in a long time, but
no, but like just like, I was talking about the parking lot on opening day.
But... Oh, well, that too, the parking lot opening day. Yeah, that would just felt like yesterday, man. So it's we love the journey, and we love doing this. Absolutely. And it's great.
And it's so cool what we've been able to do. Like,
yeah,
I mean, we had Fritz on again this year. Like, he was my favorite WP personality, and like now we're cool. He recognized me in public. Like, that to me is bananas.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
We got to have guys from one of my favorite podcasts on, Kyle and Nate. Like,
yeah, shout out to everybody that joined us this year.
Yes,
we appreciate
Philly
you guys
first,
so much.
All those guys, man, they were all awesome.
Luke Arcaney, shout out to him as well. So
it's just the things we've got to do so far are really cool.
Yeah, really cool. for sure. And we'll be right there next year, back at this again, loving and stressing out
game in Philly, baby.
Yeah, All-Star game in Philly. We'll be stressing about this team again.
Apply for media passes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Listen, man, we're still building over here, man. We gotta, build our audience more. But so real quick before we officially end, I have a little quote just for the game of baseball, and I think it's appropriate with just the season ending and stuff like that. So I saw the quote last year, and it's from Bartlett Giamatti. He was the former 7th commissioner of Major League Baseball. And in the essay of The Green Fields of Mine, people have probably heard about it before here and there, whatever, but he has a quote in there about the game of baseball and it ending at the end of the year. And I think it's something that's really just, and it's tough. And I think it's appropriate just to end off just because of how long this journey is. So it says, baseball breaks your heart. It is designed to break your heart. The game begins in the spring when everything else begins again, and it blossoms in the summer. Fill in the afternoons and the evenings, and then as soon as the chill rains come, it stops and leaves you to face the fall all alone. You count on it, rely on it to buffer the passage of time, to keep the memory of sunshine and high skies alive. And then just when the days are all twilight, when you need it most, it stops. And I think just all that put together is how we feel when shooting this pod and doing it all summer long. And I think it's just, I love this journey, and I'm glad that we were successful throughout it for the second year. And I appreciate you, dog. And I think I give us a pause because I think what you
guys don't understand is this thing doesn't move without Pete.
Nah, listen, both of us, though.
Bro, you sent me rundowns. He's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and this. I'm like, dude, that's cool. Works for me. But I mean, all this moving parts stuff, where we're streaming, uploading, editing, that's all Pete. Like, he does a great job. Like, he's the one that gets all of that stuff to you guys. I'm just some oaf behind the microphone, to be honest.
Nah, you do your part, though, dog. You're good. Yeah, nonetheless. But yeah, shout out to everybody. Let's keep this thing moving as we go along in the next couple of years. And you live and die by this team, man. Win or lose, it's disappointing, but we'll be back at it. And
I'll be back there in spring training.
Yeah, and one day
we'll schedule.
One day we'll have our moment. So, and I can't wait for it, and we'll be here for it. So, but yeah, I think we've done enough talking for the night, and it's going to be a tough offseason. So we'll see. But do you have anything else, man?
No. Go Phils.
Go Phils, baby.
Season 3, baby.
We'll see you soon. Peace.